Peace and blessings, family. This is Pinky. How are you doing today? Wanting to reach out to share a little bit of information with you about some things that I have been thinking about this week. So this week I had a young white guy come by, and my dog was outside drinking rainwater, which I don't think is bad, to be honest, because the water in Goldsboro is terrible. I finna say you need to get in touch with Mr. Bobby Jones and Miss Larcene Taylor to talk about the cold ash situation and how it's affecting our water and the stuff that's going on, because we have terrible drinking water. Like, I boil my water at home, you know, before I drink it. I'm looking for magnets to put on my pipes to like clean my water, because I can tell my skin is different. And the smell of our water is not good. Let it sit on your rag a little while and it's just bad. So I'm not tripping about my dog drinking rainwater. It's probably better than the Goldsboro tap water in real life. So either way, he decides, my daughter tells him, you know, there's food inside, she's good. You know, my dog don't look sick or nothing. She has a rash on her booty because she keeps going to go sit and stuff that she's allergic to, but she does have medicine that I put on her daily. Either way. She tells him, hey, you know, she has stuff inside, and he hears my daughter call the dog's name and tell the dog to go in the building, and he calls the dog name to come to him, and then throws food out his window after my daughter asked him not to. So that was irky, very, and I was ready to find him. Like, if he ride past again, then we'll run outside and run him in the street like, yo, bro, and I'm gonna holler at you because I didn't appreciate it. Like, you just disrespectful. I've had several situations, so this is not the first situation. I constantly, daily have to deal with police coming to my house. White people calling the police on me. Oh, her dog looks sick. Her dog is this. Her dog is that. My dog, like, I live across the street from where I work, and I got robbed 14 times within the first 5 years. I ain't seen no white people calling and say they saw nothing weird happening or none of my stuff was missing, but they show calling and watching my shop in my house now about this dog, which is ridiculous. I've come home and people have been in my yard. So either way, I have the dog because she was a guard dog. So her knowing my walk, because she would walk me back and forth home. I couldn't trust the police too, because when I used to walk home at night with my daughter on my back at 3 o'clock in the morning coming from work all day, I would get stopped as if I was a prostitute on the street. So yes, my dog does not on a leash, because she used to walk me back and forth to my job to protect me, to keep me from getting robbed at gunpoint like I have twice. Thank you, police, for not being there. You feel what I'm saying? But she was there to question me, to ask me if I was a prostitute with a baby on my back when you see me at a shop all day working. But I digress. That's why I got my dog. I mean, that's why she's loose most of the time, because she was my protection. So either way, I had a man, when my dog was pregnant, come to my house at 7:30 in the morning, beating on my door, telling me how dare I have my pregnant dog out by herself. And I was like, how dare you come to my house? Like, you followed her home. She knows her way home. She knows where she was at. You're the stranger in this neighborhood who don't know what's going on. And you're about to cause a problem, but I don't see you following no young black mothers home to see if they okay. And they out here by themselves pregnant. I don't see you helping no single mothers out here and word that they like doing okay pregnant. So why are you tripping on my dog? So to me, I just see the switch and bait. It's like the entitlement issue has just been so big in the atmosphere for me this week. And then just having to deal with some Caucasian customers in certain places, like they're very entitled, as if you're supposed to give them something, as if you're doing them a favor. They want you to jump through 20 hoops to get what they got. And I understand that mentality of money, because I've been money crazy like that at some point in time as well. Thank perfect love for deliverance from that. But the white people in the city hold a poverty mentality. So when you're talking about poverty, it ain't about stuff, it's about the mentality. Because what do poor people do? They waste money, right? They spend money in places that it don't need to be spent. They do things that don't make no sense. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I used to, when I was little, I used to wonder why, like, you know, we never went out to eat. We never went to the skating rink. I never went to the movies. Like, I didn't even eat fast food until I was 13 and I couldn't afford it myself. My daddy didn't play that, but it was 8 of us in the house. We didn't get no food stamps. We didn't get no help except for my daddy going to work every day. So if you ate a bowl of cereal in the morning, that was your snack. Like, it ain't no more snacks in this house. What you talking about? It's dinner. Like, but there was no food. There weren't no bags of chips because they had to live on a budget. When you're feeding 8 people off of literally $30 a week, like, Hamburger Helper is that joint. You feel what I'm saying? I'm talking about, you buy that bag of extra noodles to stretch it out. Like, the poverty mindset is when you waste. When you know your rent is due, but you go get your nails done anyway. Like, when you know you need to be saving up for this, but instead, because you need a piece of joy right now and you worked all week, so I'm gonna have something to make me happy. Well, I'm happy to have lights, I'm happy to have water, and I'm gloriously happy to have patience to save up the money to get those things, so it'll be worth having when I have it. It's not worth having my nails done in the dark. How I'ma see that, Noble? Like, I'm not gonna be able to see it. It's not gonna work. So, you know, we have to focus. And that's what I see our city doing, because if you could spend $6 million on a park, $6 million on a park with a stage, and you know, oh, I have a little picture. I'll show you a little. This ain't like their rendition, but this is like how the stage is supposed to look. At the top, and it's supposed to be like a park bus portal, and then those are the $250,000 bathrooms that are only 1,200 square feet. And I know people, like I said, that have built homes, 3,500 square foot homes, for almost that same price. So our poverty mentality is trickle down, because it starts with even the people who think they're rich because they have money. Because with all these people with so-called money in this city, why don't we have the types of things that would actually make us rich as a people? We have no culture here. We have no real things that would insinuate thinking, that would nurture our inner soul. So, you know, it's that fakeness again, that mask we put on, those things that we don't want to look at deep down on the inside. And that's even deeper. Whew. Feelings we don't want to look at on the inside. Let me read you something. I think Councilman Ham's lovely wife decided to make a post, or correct me or slay me, and say some things about the censorship video that I did. So I'm going to clarify for everyone, and I'm going to read some definitions of what censure, C-E-N-S-U-R-E, censure, which is what they want to do to Mr. Williams. And I'm going to even tell you now, even when I read this definition, remember, they still changed the definition in the city council, and they put stipulations to what their censure would include. So that's what we're going off of in the first video, not just what the actual definition is, but what Mr. Ham said. He didn't want Mr. Williams to walk through the building. He didn't want him to be able to go to the mail. You know, certain specific details that he named out, even talking about recalling the vote. So those were things that he threw out as possible choices of ways to censure him. But let's just read the actual definition of censor. It's an expression of blame or disapproval. It's an official rebuke. It's to criticize severely. Okay? So that is what a C-E-N-S-U-R-E is. A censure. Okay? So let's look at censor. Okay? Which honestly, they both go one and the same. If I'm going to publicly rebuke you and tell you it's an expression of blame or disapproval, an official rebuke to criticize severely, what is censorship? Censorship is the act or the process or the policy of censoring, saying this is not okay. So a censure is saying, I don't approve of what you're saying. I publicly am saying that I don't agree with you. I'm publicly saying this is official rebuke, and I just think you should stop talking. So pretty much a censorship is the same thing, because it's the act or the process of taking out information that you don't want to be heard, that will deter or change the thinking of people. So when you look at it, it's pretty much the same thing. Just saying that I'm gonna say a censorship is product of a censure. When I say, look, I don't like what you're saying, I don't want to hear about it no more, I want you to stop talking. That's the same thing. Like, it's just a political way of doing it. But let's look at the deep meanings, because you know everything has deeper meanings. So even when you go down into a censorship, it goes into the place of saying it's the office or authority of Roman censor. So this started in the Roman times. This is something, of course, because America has based itself off Roman law, Roman authority, that type of thing. So when you look at that, what is it psychoanalytically? What is censorship? The inhibition by either ego or superego of conscious awareness of painful feelings or ideas. Let's say that again. An inhibition by either the ego or the superego of consciousness, of a conscious awareness of painful feelings or ideas. So I censor things that I know is going to be a painful feeling or idea for my ego to deal with. That is the base of where censorship starts. It starts with the fact that someone's ego is hurt and they don't want to deal with the nasty feelings. So we appreciate our councilman being open and honest and giving us the opportunity to further look deep into this issue to find out what their problem is. The problem is when they say they want to censure Mr. Williams, they do not want to deal with or look at the painful feelings or ideas of what they have done to the black men in our community, what they have done to the poverty-stricken people in our community, because their ego cannot take what they have done wrong. So therefore, we want you to stop talking about it. We want to make excuses for it. We want to blame you for it and make you look like an enemy. And don't they do that to us every day? Like how they try to make me feel guilty like I was doing something wrong to my dog when I know my dog is fed and I know the water is bad. That's why she's drinking rainwater. But you want to make me feel bad by throwing my dog some food, then calling the police on me saying my dog out here homeless looking crazy. White people, cut it out. Like, it is out of order. This stuff in this city is out of order. The way you guys come into people's businesses and complain to try to get extra money or talk bad about people and blackball them so that you can get cheaper prices because you have an issue with money, because you have no value inside yourself. So the only way you feel value is to have $40,000. Our city council will spend $40,000 to get on a TV show. How did we get here? I want to know, how did we get here? How did we get here in Goldsboro to where we are almost 65% African American and you can't hardly get nobody black to stand up and do nothing right? How did we get to a city where there's 895 registered churches and we don't have one piece of righteousness walking down this street standing up for nothing righteous? I ain't seen not one pastor come speak to nobody and say nothing except for what they could get for their church. So it's cute if you had a private conversation, because I did. I went to the mayor privately. I prayed with him in real life. Like I had a dream. And I told him about the dream too. I keep having this dream where the mayor, he's on my street. Like I'm standing outside in my yard and I see like a big deuce in a quarter, like an old school car coming down the street. And the mayor is like a hood ornament, like almost like you can see the light shining on. He's standing in the middle of the street like, help me, help me. And then like this big car comes and it like hits him, but it's like he's still waving like, help me. And he's like a hood ornament just riding on the front of this car. So like, in my heart, as a spiritual person, I keep having this dream. Like, I really did go to him and pray, like, with him, because I care about him as a person. I care about his family. I care about all those things. I'm not trying to be an evil person, not by no means. But you're not going to make me evil because I make you accountable. This is just a parent whooping your ass, because that's how I feel. My mom and daddy didn't take me in no back room to whoop me. When they corrected me right where I did wrong. And I think that's what we have to understand. We have all lost the real mentality of family values. We need to correct things right where they stand wrong. And they wrong. They wrong for giving us unregulated basketball courts and want to build a $6 million park. And I know it's a grant, but why couldn't you think to write a grant for us? I'm sure there's hundreds and thousands of grants out there. Isn't our community relations department supposed to be looking into stuff like that to help the city? Like, what we got going on here? So all I'm saying is, however you stand up. It's not just about city council. It's school board. It's everything. Like, come on. So we're going to put mandatory resource officers in all the schools and then wonder why our children are getting prepared for jail. What you thought? Like, if I had to go to school with resource officers, my mentality is shot from the beginning. So I'm just saying, we be so smart. We not. Like, we not fighting for the right things. And we're not taking the type of measures that need to be taken, because I know the people who plan this part, they clearly said out of their mouth, well, look, if the city won't give us the money, we're going to find the money in our community. We're going to find some private investors. So I think it's time we start privately investing in our community. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do. There's a lot of pieces of land. Let's build our own part. We don't have to go down there and curse theirs. We just build our own. We start out small and starting off with understanding something different. Let's not always keep trying to be happy, okay? Happy is something, if we really look at the definition of that word was something that came with extreme pleasure, a gluttonous feeling from the gods. So it was an overwhelmingness of pleasure to your flesh. But when you look at being content, it's a fulfillment of your soul. So let's stop trying to be happy all the time. That means overwhelming ourselves with gluttonous pleasure. And let's be content and fulfill our souls. And we can do that by starting off with small projects to show that we can come together. And we don't have to do what they're doing. We can all homeschool this year. If you pull your children out of their school, how the superintendent gonna get paid? You got to start hitting them where it hurts. We got to start taking drastic measures. Killer Mike said it best, black people ain't really ready for a revolution. And that's the thing. This is not a civil war, because if we understand who we are as the first Africans, as the first humans, that means I have to fight for humanity first, because I'm the mother of all humans, black, white, Asian, Mexican. So yes, my black people come first, but I also have to help all of those, and humanity comes first. And I see humanity being destroyed at this time. So I think the divide and conquer role is how we have gotten to where we are. So we definitely need to get to the point to where we understand who we are and how we're supposed to operate and not allow their super egos and their awareness of the pain and the crazy ideas they've had about us to stop us. They will not censor us or censure us. They will not do anything of the sort. So what we have to understand is how to stay focused on what's right, how to stay focused on what's true, how to bring unity and determination back to our community, and how to start taking small steps and not being afraid of the small steps and not feeling embarrassed because we're taking a small step. Everything don't gotta be big. Most time when it's big, it's fake. So sorry this was a long video. Love you guys.